Yeah, that's K-Man's version of a moan. And the topic of the day is hormones. What is a hormone and what is it responsible for? Well, hormones such as testosterone and adrenaline and human growth hormone are part of the endocrine system, or sometimes referred to as a hormonal system. And the hormonal system or the endocrine system, its responsibility is to trigger physiological changes, short-term and long-term, in the body. So when the body comes under pressure or under stress, then it will trigger the endocrine system to react or to respond to that stress, to deal with it immediately, but also to adapt the body to become prepared for that stress in the future by creating long-term physiological changes. So hormones trigger physiological changes in the cells of the body to withstand a stress and prepare for that future stress in the future. So hormones are stored in glands, and when the body comes under pressure, it's released from the gland into the blood system and taken to the appropriate part of the body where it triggers that physiological response to overcome that stress or to prepare for that stress if it's going to reappear in the future. For example, I usually use this analogy when it comes to the physiology of burning substrates in the body, your fats and carbohydrates. So I use the example of a fireplace. And in the body you have cells called mitochondria where energy is produced. In a fireplace we produce energy by burning off wood and paper, and that has a byproduct of producing heat that keeps us warm. So the cell in the body is the mitochondria. In that cell you have your macronutrients, fat and carbohydrate, which is wood and the paper. The wood is the fat and the paper is the carbohydrate, because carbohydrate burns quickly like paper and fat burns slowly but for a long period like wood. Now if I want to get that fireplace activated to produce flames and heat, then I have to light the fireplace or light the mitochondria, which has fat and carbohydrate in it. So I light it with a match, and a match is like a hormone where when I strike the match it will create fire by burning the paper, then eventually the wood. So the match is like the hormone, the matchbox is like the gland. So the gland stores the hormones, the matchbox stores the match. And if I need heat or I need to create a flame, I take the match out, which is the hormone, out of the gland, which is the matchbox, and I light the fire in the mitochondria, which is the fireplace, and that stimulates that physiological change or ignites the paper and the wood to burn, and that will produce energy, and the byproduct of that energy will be heat, and byproducts go out the chimney in metabolic byproducts. So there's a nice little example of the hormonal system in a very easy way to explain it. Hormones are stored in glands and they're released from the gland when the body's under pressure or stress to create physiological changes to deal with the pressure or the stress immediately, but also to create long-term physiological changes so it can withstand that reappearance of the stress in the future. And that would be no cow poo.